Hello, friends. In the last video on the Manipur conflict, I told you about the long history of the Meiteis and the Meiteis, the two communities which are embroiled in a terrible conflict now. To recap in short, we talked about how the Meiteis who lived in the valley and the Naga tribals who lived in the mountains often fought for resources. Then in the 1800s, the Kuki tribe was introduced by the British from the nearby jungles in the surrounding areas of Manipur, so that they could be a buffer between the Naga tribe and the Meiteis. But the Kukis waged a war against the British, and to keep them away, the British declared their jungles ungovernable, and kept them at a distance by creating the inner line. After India's independence, insurgencies were seen in these three groups. These ethnic communities kind of formed private armies. Some of the fanatical Naga groups demanded to form a separate country. Initially, some of the Meitei insurgents also talked about liberating Manipur. And now, the Kuki insurgents want a state separate from Manipur, named Kuki land. The same video I told you that. The biggest fear of these different ethnic communities is that their identity and culture might get destroyed. And in the past few years, the demands and protests by the moderate members of the Kuki and Meitei communities were based on this fundamental reason. And now, the devastating violence that is being seen between them is caused by many demands, conflicts, differences of opinion, and more importantly, several decisions taken by the government. All of these are responsible. Come, let's understand this in today's video. Before starting the video, I would like to share a small piece of information. Now let's talk about Manipur. At the end of the last video, I told you that the biggest demand of the Kuki people living in the hills was to make a new Indian state for the Kuki people. But they said that if this can't be done, at the very least to include the forests under the tribal area in the 6th schedule of the Constitution. And if even this can't be done, then their demand was to at least pass the ADC, Amendment Bill 2021, so that the local level governance in the hills could be made easier. Now, the BJP government in Manipur does nothing of the above, rather it introduces a new bill, Manipur Hill Area District Council's 6th and 7th Amendment Bills. This was done by the government in August 2022, without discussing it with the Hill Area Committee. Whatever was written in this bill, the tribal people were not happy about it, and they started protesting. Being pressurized by the protests, the government signs an MO with the protesters and assures them that they will consult with the Hill Area Committee. Apart from this year the government takes another decision, which enraged the Kuki people. On the 31st of March 2022, the Ministry of Home Affairs lifted the AFSP Act, Armed Forces Special Powers Act, from some areas of Manipur, and the areas from which it was lifted were mostly the valley areas. The government had already signed a ceasefire with the insurgent groups in the hills. To ensure no conflict, a suspension of operations agreement was signed in 2008 by the center government, Manipur government, and 2 Kuki organizations, which included 25 insurgent Kuki groups. Under this agreement, they had to put down their weapons. And because this ceasefire had been successful for so many years, people were expecting the government to lift AFSPA from the hill area as well. Finally, a long-lasting peace could be achieved. But this does not happen. Later, the Manipur government does the opposite. In March 2023, the suspension of operations agreement was also withdrawn by the Manipur government. They accused the insurgent groups of influencing agitations among the forest encroachers, and thus they justified the withdrawal of the suspension of operations. Then came the third decision of the government, which enraged the Kuki people even more. Look at this article from the Outlook. The state government redraws the boundaries of the district. Some land that was previously in the hill tribe areas were added to the valley districts without consulting the tribals. This land becomes government land, and now they have to pay land taxes. Not only this, there were eviction drives in some places. The government claimed that they had to survey the reserve jungles, and so the people of a village were forced to relocate. This happens in Songjang village in Churachandpur district. Around 38 villages were labeled illegal settlements, and the villagers living there were declared encroachers. Remember I told you in the last video that the Kuki people were called to these hills to protect the Meiteis? And now they are being thrown out of here. You must be wondering why the government wanted to empty these jungles? So here I will show you 3 news articles, and then see for yourself if there is any connection between these articles and these evictions or not. The first article is from the 2nd of August, 2023. 3 bills were passed in Rajya Sabha. One of them was the Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill, with the help of which private companies can now mine 6 out of 12 atomic minerals in India. Before this, only government agencies could mine these minerals. But now, private companies are allowed to do so. Second, Jan Vishwas bill, in which 183 provisions from 42 existing acts are decriminalized. This includes many significant acts such as the Environment Act, the Indian Forest Act, and the Air Act. Independent think tank Vitti Center for Legal Policy pointed out how this will make it difficult to protect the environment. Now, look at the second news headline from November 2020. Manipur government launches oil palm project. Manipur's Chief Minister Biren Singh said that he has identified places in Chandel, Churan Chandipur, Impole West, Bishnupur, and other districts where oil palm cultivation can be done. He said that it can be an alternative to jhum cultivation and poppy cultivation. The third news headline from August 2022, oil palm cultivation, Godre Agravet signs moose with Assam, Manipur and Tripura. It is written in the article how this company will be allotted land in these 3 states for oil palm cultivation. Let's see a fourth headline too, from August 2020, mining moose and concerns in Manipur. What's written in this article? 39 mining-related moose were signed in 2017. If you scroll down, they mention the adverse effects this would have on the environment, how harmful this can be to health. They write that the money generated from mining wouldn't reach the masses. Rather, it will be consolidated in the wealth of powerful elites. This will lead to resource depletion, exploitation of cheap labor, worsening poverty, and more importantly, it's written that the mining operations will intensify the multifaceted conflict and human rights situation in Manipur. An article from 3 years ago gave ample warnings. The question is, if the government allows private companies to mine in Manipur and allows oil palm cultivation in Manipur, then where will the land come from? Was this the real reason why the government forcefully evicted the tribal Kuki people? A valid question.